Hey everybody, I am AR Mar, and this is what I found time to play of the day, the Kerbal Space Program. That's right, once again we're going to try and journey into the wild blue yonder and beyond. Let's go back, resume our saved game from before. Now, I admit I've watched one or two things in the meantime here, tried to get a little more up on how to accomplish our goals here. Gonna do a mission here to gather us a little more science, since right now, if we look at our contracts, we've got testing the heat shield, which, there we go, and orbit. So it's available. Yeah, pretty much everything else is asking for orbit too, so let's get back in here. You know, one thing I'm going to do really quick from what I read is that it'll give us a perform EVAs in space. I've heard that's quite useful, so we'll buy that upgrade real quick. And yeah, let's go build a new spaceship. This run's going to be to get us some science so that we can get a little more R&D for ourselves. Here we go. Science. Go on a symmetry these. There we go. And then parachute. Let's add in a Science Junior. There we go. Some commutrons. Excuse me, everybody. Okie dokie. And we're not going very high up. We won't need the heat shield this time. Let's go up here to engines, but before we do that, we'll want to give them a fuel tank. Let's go with 3 fuel tanks and a Reliant. There we go, pretty basic, but that should help us on the science front. Okay, let's try giving it a launch. One thing I've discovered, the main reason why I put 2 goos here is that now we have... It's like now we can do this twice. We can take the goo, we can take the goo. Okie dokie. So, 3, 2... and you can control the thrust of your engine, the throttle, with the control and shift keys. So that's kind of cool. Gonna turn SAS on so that our Jebediah here will help us out. We want to angle a little bit so we're going over the water a bit more. Gonna zoom in here and observe the one mystery goo. Don't really get much science from that because we've already done it a couple times. Nope. We're flipping around a little here. Let's see if we can right ourselves. Oh, and I accidentally released the parachute. Oops. That's a little awkward. Yeah, well, let's do an observe mystery goo over here then. Yep, we're not over the water, so let's revert this one to let's go back to launch. So what I'm trying to do is get us out over the water, because if we do that, we'll get more science from observing the goo and whatnot. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's go. We'll start angling ourselves gently. ship has a bad habit of just swinging around there. You know what, let's go back to reverting. Let's revert to vehicle assembly and add in some fins, give us a little more stability. There we go, aerodynamics, we'll do some winglets. And we'll want 3 of those. There we go. There we go, everything seems a lot more stable now. We can reduce our burn, we can bring it back up. We're also getting pretty high up here. But we are almost out of fuel, and there we go. So, while we're nice and high up here, let's get a little science done. Observe the mystery goo. And not much we can do there. Let's observe the materials bay. Not bad, about 17 some science, so we'll keep that data. Let's reset the materials bay. Okay, so we're nice and high up here, about 11,000 feet. Let's take a crew report. So a nice bit of data over the water here. Let's review that report. Let's transmit it back home. Now, as we fall, what we're waiting for here is for the parachute to be safe to open, because right now it's in the red, so as we know from before, that'll just cause us to explode. And the mistake I might have made this time is that if I probably should have made it so I could decouple the engine here so that we could save the rest of this. So it's starting to look like it's coming in too hot. Yep. Well, let's view the nice explosion, and then we'll revert back to the drawing board. I guess water explosions aren't as fun. Okay, vehicle assembly. Okay, so we've got almost everything else we're looking for here. We want to save the science, so we'll pull off at this point. Okay. So, stack decoupler. Throw this one here. There we go. Okay, so now we've got engine, decoupler, parachute. Let's throw a heat shield on there just to be safe. Okay. It's looking good. Let's go back to launch. Start angling again for that ocean. Well, it's doing that. Let's go here and zoom on in. See something kind of cool here. The apoapsis here is telling us, like, basically what our maximum height is going to be. Check that out. Oh, and that's basically killing our throttle. And then with shift, I can bring it back up. And we are out of liquid fuel, so we are going to disengage. We'll observe our materials bay. Keep the data. reset the experiment there. And we'll get a crew report here. And that's kind of cool. Underwater topology. We'll transmute that one. There we go. And then let's try the science goo here. We'll observe one of the mystery goos. Not much because we've already taken it a few times while flying. Now as we fall here, we'll hopefully be able to reorient ourselves a little. Nope. We're still too top heavy. But now we're at a safe point to deploy the parachute. So let's get that going before we go too fast. That'll slow us down a bit, and hopefully we should splash down safely in the water here and be able to take some data there. So we'll speed up time here so that we can observe a little better. There's the chute deploying at 500 feet. Yeah, it looks like we'll have a completely successful splashdown. So we didn't make it to space again, but we are getting some valuable science data, and that should help us get some of the parts that'll make it easier to get into space and establish that orbit. So we'll accelerate again. Now that we've landed, we can do a little more, like observe this mystery goo. Oh, the goo escaped into the water. Let's observe the materials bay again. Keep the data. Crew hatch. We can take a crew report from here. And we don't get any science for that, so whatever. And the another thing we can do here is EVA. And take an EVA report. Get 6 science from that. Store some experiments. Collect the data, remove the data, collect the data, remove the data, and then store those in here. And then we'll board again. Now that all that's been done, we'll want to recover vessel. So there we go, we got 35 science from that, so that'll definitely boost us up. Or sorry, 20 science earned, we've got up to 35 science now, so that'll definitely help us out. We got most of our parts back, so that's good for the funds. Jebediah didn't gain any experience, but the point here was to get the science we needed. So, the last thing I'll do before we end this segment is buy our general rocketry, which will give us some more boosters to work with. And there we go. Next step, hopefully space. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.